So, what do y'all want to talk about? Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Big Mike Talks. And today, I am recapping the 3 big shows from this past week. That's Impact Wrestling Multiverse United, Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor, and both nights of WrestleMania. So, let's grab yourself a snack, maybe a drink, and let's do this. So, of course, first things first, we are going to cover Impact Wrestling New Japan Pro Wrestling Multiverse United, which is a joint show that Impact and New Japan did on Thursday, which was at like 11 p.m., which that was kind of fun. It was an overall fun show, a lot of great talent, and we started off with a 4-way scramble match for the X Division title. Now, I honestly thought I heard this was supposed to be Ultimate X, but I guess maybe the venue changed something? I don't know. We got Rich Swann taking on Rocky Romero, Kevin Knight, the defending champ Trey Miguel, Frankie Kazarian, and Clark Connors. This was definitely a nutty 4-way match. This felt like the Cruiserweight Opens from WWE years ago, where we had multiple guys flying around. It was a lot of fun, although I did feel like it was a tad bit short, like maybe a little time restraining. I think the MVP of tonight, of this match, was Kevin Knight, who near the end is just throwing spears at absolutely everyone. It looks like he's going to go for the win. And then Trey Miguel throws Clark Connors out of the ring, takes the pin on himself, and retains the title. It was a fun match. It was a little car crashy, and like I said, I wish it was a tad bit longer, but overall, I had fun with it. This next match was definitely very nutty, but I enjoyed every second of it. It's an 8-man tag team match, playa, as we have Eddie Edwards teaming with Filthy Tom Lawler, J.R. Kratos, and the digital media champion Joe Hendry. What a team that is. Like, one of these things just doesn't belong here. It's Joe Hendry. As they take on the team of Callahan, the former Sami Callahan, Fred Rosser, the former openweight champion, Alex Coughlin, who I believe challenged Tom Lawler for the openweight champion not long ago, and PCO, who, honestly, again, the MVP of this match. This match was just pure, unadulterated chaos. Everyone got their stuff in, including a failed attempt at Joe Hendry's standing ovation, which was countered by PCO. Yeah, seeing those two together in the ring, that's interesting. I will say, though, Tom Lawler and Eddie Edwards worked really well together. Maybe we'll see more Tom Lawler in Impact? I wouldn't say no. Then we have everyone doing their dives and stuff to the outside, including a big old PCO moonsault, which leads into the biggest hoss fight face-off I've ever seen. JR Kratos and PCO. Like, can we get a one-on-one match between these two dudes, please? That'd be great. Then the bad guys team hit all their finishes on PCO, in which he kicks out, which that was nuts. And then the faces did all their finishers to the bad guys, including a nasty looking PCO assault for the win. for Callahan, Rosser, and PCO. That was definitely a fun bout. I wouldn't mind seeing a one-on-one between PCO and Kratos somewhere down the line. It was a fun, kind of pointless match, which I'm always for. Next up, another big ol' hoss fight. We get Moose taking on Jeff Cobb. Ooh, Jeff Cobb, fresh off of losing the IWGP United States title match to Kenny Omega on Dynamite last week. And, ooh, honestly, this match did not disappoint. Both worked extremely well together, including, like, a big moonsault from Moose, which that always impresses me when big guys do not so big guys stuff. That will always get me. Moose then counters a tour of the islands. Looks like he's going to hit a spear. He gets caught by Cobb, who then hits a tour of the islands for the win. I would definitely not mind a repeat of this match somewhere down the line, because it was that dang good. Like, I don't know who I have to contact to get another rematch of this, but I want to see these two guys again. Next up is a fatal four-way where the winner joins Jordynne Grace, and if she's healthy, Mickie James in a potential triple threat match at Rebellion for the Knockouts title. We have Masha Slamovich, who has been in the title hunt for a while now. Deonna Purrazzo, who has been dealing with the next challenger, Giselle Shaw. And relative newcomer to me, I don't really watch much Total Japan Pro Wrestling. Maybe I should. It's Miyu Yamashita. Yamashita? I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm butchering these names, but yeah, this was another excellent bout. Everyone worked really well together. We had a counter of Masha Slamovich's snowplow. Yamashita with some big old kicks, which Yamashita is definitely impressed tonight. I would love to see more of her, wherever. Whether it's on Impact. I know she's going to be on a Ring of Honor TV this week, so that should be fun. We then get a destroyer by Yamashita, which, dang, that was kind of from out of nowhere. Then Purrazzo sneaks in Queen's Gambit for the win. So now she is going to the four-way. I mean, the potential triple threat match at Rebellion. Hopefully Mickie James is healed up by then. Fingers crossed. Because I miss seeing Mickie James on my TV. Next up is another fatal four-way. This time for the Impact Tag Team titles. As we have Bullet Club, the champions, that being Chris Bay and Ace Austin, taking on Aussie Open, who Tag Team of the Year, easily. TMTK, who is being represented by Shane Haste and Bad Dude Tito, who last we saw them, they had challenged Ace and Bay at Sacrifice. And the Motor City Machine Guns, who are the current Strong Openweight Tag Team Champions. This match was a little bit chaotic, but still in a good way. Everyone got their stuff in. A lot of, triple and quadruple teamings against Tito, who is easily the biggest guy in the ring. We then had a nice little face-off between Davis and Tito, in which, I'm always down for a house fight. We then see Davis diving out of the ring onto everyone, which, that was crazy. Aussie Open near the end tries to go for their finisher. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. That gets countered. And then after a bunch of super kicks, art of finesse, and the fold, winners, still champions, Bullet Club. This match was a lot of fun to watch. And I'm wondering what's next for Bullet Club. Are they going to take these titles over to New Japan and defend them? Who else can step up to Bullet Club? Will we see the Guns get a rematch? Fingers crossed. Options are open. Next up, we have a very interesting replacement match. It was supposed to be Kushida challenging Josh Alexander for the Impact World title. However, Josh Alexander, right before Sacrifice, came down with an injury, I believe to his arm, and he relinquished the title and could not show up on these shows, which is a shame. Hopefully you have a speedy recovery, my friend. Nothing bad to say about you. His replacement, very late replacement, Lio Rush, who has been doing some really good things in New Japan as of late, including getting to the finals of the Junior Tag League, which that was a lot of fun to watch. This was definitely the usual kind of high-flying stuff from Lio Rush. Kushida brought it out when needed, but overall he was working the arm. And then eventually he got the hoverboard lock in for the submission victory. This match was a lot of fun, very underrated, and I do think you should go seek it out. It's a nice little, kind of quick, but still really good match. Next up, a very interesting bout. You have Kenta defending his strong openweight championship against, the murder grandpa himself, Minoru Suzuki. This match came about with Kenta pretty much making fun of Suzuki's age and, pulling pranks on him, whatever. And Suzuki bought it this time around. Like, this was a lot of fun to watch, a lot of nice back and forth. Eventually, Kenta went for the GTS. Minoru Suzuki got out of it, which, that was interesting. Went for a couple of sleepers. Kenta got out of those. Near the end, Minoru goes for a pile driver. That's countered. A big old low blow to the bollocks. A roll up for the sneaky heel victory for Kenta. I had a lot of fun with this match. This was good heel work from Kenta. And, we'll see what goes from here. And Finalamo. This match. Now, I'll preface by saying this. Speedball Mike Bailey was set to face Will Ospreay in this match. He got hurt, sadly. Feel better soon, Will. Can't wait to see what happens next for you. The replacement. It's the ace of New Japan, Hiromu Tanahashi. And boy. Honestly, this match lived up to the hype. This was absolutely great. A lot of good near falls, a lot of good mat wrestling. A little high flying, but not too much to feel the same as other matches on this card. At one point, Speedball goes for his spin kick. He gets caught. And then he gets caught in a sling blade by Tanahashi, which, holy crap, that was amazing. Speedball near the end tries to go for Ultima Weapon, which personally is my new favorite finisher. He misses. Roll up, 2 count. Swinging neck breaker, which looked very gnarly. A sling blade, and then the high fly flow to end the match. And it was, honestly, I think this was a week stealer. Like, I cannot recommend this match enough. Go check it out. You won't regret it. Overall, this event was a whole lot of fun. I'm going to give the biggest thumbs up I can. And honestly, if right now you're not tuning into Impact Wrestling, please do. They're doing some really good stuff these days. Now, next up, we have Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, and it starts off with the AAA Mega Championship match as El Hijo del Vikingo defends his title against Commander. And, oh boy, I don't know how I can put this into words. They did, as Kalisto said in that one backstage interview, some good lucha things. Like, this was Lucha Libre at its best. I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's poetry in motion. Like, I cannot recommend this match enough. And then after a massive 630 splash, Vikingo retains his title. Like, I cannot recommend this match enough. Please go out and see it. It's Lucha Libre at its best. Next up, we have the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team title match, playa. As we have the Embassy, that's Brian Cage, Toa Leona, and Big Con himself, take on AR Fox, Blake Christian, and Metalik. That's Grand Metalik. Early on, the big bruising heels take advantage of their size. Eventually, the lighter baby faces do get some momentum, but ultimately it is stopped short by, the big burly heels. And then after a big old drill claw from Cage, your winner, still 6-man tag team champions, the Embassy. Now, I thought the Embassy were going to lose this match because apparently Brian Cage's contract is up pretty soon. So, I thought he was going to lose this. But if he's sticking around for ROH, I'm in. We'll see what happens. Next up, a very hard-hitting, very fun affair for the Ring of Honor Women's title, as it's Athena taking on the magical girl, Yuka Sakazaki. And honestly, I am so happy to see Yuka Sakazaki back on my screen. She is a fantastic talent. And this match, like I said, very hard-hitting. And just very, very technically sound. Like, nothing felt overly stiff. Nothing felt overly silly. It was just a good, pure wrestling bout. That was won by the O-Face, and Athena gets the win. Honestly, another fun one. Another fun match. It's going to be interesting to see who steps up to Athena next, because she's had some pretty worthy challengers as of late. Speaking of worthy challengers, we got the Ring of Honor television title as Samoa Joe defends against Mark Briscoe. And of course, Mark dedicates this match to his brother Jay. May he rest in peace. And, very technically sound. Another very technically sound match. One point near the end, Mark does hit the froggy bow. Looks like he's going to get the win. Kicks out. Goes for a J Driller. That gets countered. And then the win comes with the Coquina Clutch and the submission victory So your winner, still Ring of Honor champion, Samoa Joe. Both guys really brought it this week. Am I a little mad that Mark Briscoe lost? Absolutely. But I do think it was a little bit too soon to dethrone Samoa Joe. So, we'll see what happens in the future. Next up, we have a kind of a Clash of Styles match as Daniel Garcia takes on, you guessed it, Hiroshi Tanahashi. This match was, a little bit methodical to begin with, kind of slow, which I know it's Daniel Garcia's style, but it did kind of turn up a little bit as the match went on. Garcia tries for a sharpshooter that gets blocked. Garcia tries for the pile driver near the end that gets counted into a neck breaker, a sling blade, and a high fly flow, making Tanahashi 2-0 WrestleMania week. So that's definitely another fun match. I'm kind of happy Garcia didn't win that one. Because, I don't know, Garcia has kind of fallen off for me as a competitor. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a great wrestler. He just needs something more than just Chris Jericho's lackey, Next up, it's the Reach for the Sky ladder match to crown the new Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. Obviously, Mark Briscoe relinquished the titles due to the passing of his brother, and he came up with this ladder match to crown a new champion. Competitors, Lucha Brothers, The Kingdom, that's Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, LFI, that's Roosh and Preston Vance, the former number 10 of the Dark Order, Top Flight, and Aussie Open. This was a very, very interesting match. You had all the accoutrements come into play, including chairs. We had tables. And then, of course, the big ladder spots, including bridges made out of the ladders, connecting not only to the main ladder, but to the outside of the ring as well. Now, in a very, very, very scary moment near the end, you have Penta up on a ladder bridge connecting to one of the turnbuckles and a ladder set up in the middle of the ring. He has Dante Martin in, and hits a destroyer from that ladder through some tables at ringside, and you can just barely see Dante land on his leg, and his leg just get absolutely destroyed. It does seem like Dante is in good spirits, which that's great, but I just hope this doesn't shorten his career. Like, Dante still has such a way to go, and I think he and Darius need some tag titles sometime soon. And then Rey Fenix goes up, gets the title belts. Your winners, new Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, the Lucha Brothers. I would have liked to see Top Flight get the titles, but considering their situation, I'm okay with the Lucha Brothers getting it. And then, post-match, we have FTR and Mark Briscoe coming out, and they all share an embrace. As it was a tribute, not only a ladder match, but it was also a tribute to Jay Briscoe. So, that was very nice, and hopefully Dante heals up soon. And in our semi-main event, we have a Pure Rules match for the Pure title. Ring of Honor Pure title. Now, this matchup is kind of a bit complicated, but it does make sense. In this match, we get on a lot of the amount of time. Each competitor gets 3 rope breaks in total, in which if there's a pinfall in the ropes or a submission in the ropes, and you're out of rope breaks, it still counts if you tap out or get pinned. So that is something to keep an eye on. Also, if you throw a closed fist, you get a warning. If you get hit with a closed fist again, then you lose. That's it. And if you're the champion, you lose the title. So, definitely something to keep an eye on. As we have champion Wheeler Yuta defending against New Japan legend and man who I never thought I'd see wrestle again, has now been taking quite some wrestling matches, Katsuyori Shibata. Now, he's been out for a good couple years with a nasty neck injury. Came back a couple years ago at Wrestle Kingdom, and has been looking really good ever since, including with a very weird match against Orange Cassidy, which, to each their own. This match was pretty much a a classic wrestling match. It had all the bells and whistles. Including Wheeler Yuta having to use at least 2 of his rope breaks during this match, which, you don't see that as often. Near the end, we have some disrespect by Yuta, including a low blow into a roll-up in which Shibata kicks out. Near the end, Yuta spits into the face of Shibata. Shibata with plenty of kicks to him. Puts him in the sleeper hold, but then lets it go. Hits a big old penalty kick, which, dang. That's a little much for a finisher, no? With the winner, new Ring of Honor Pure Champion, Shibata. Honestly, I think this was very well deserved. This build has been pretty interesting for this matchup. Gonna be interesting to see what they do with Yuta in the future, because I don't think they're done. And finalamo, our main event for Ring of Honor, as the Ring of Honor title is on the line, as it's Claudio Castagnoli taking on Eddie Kingston. And Eddie Kingston goes right off the bell, goes right after Claudio. They have some nice back and forth. For people who don't get along, they have some really good chemistry. Really, really good. At one point, Claudio goes for the Boston Crab. And then Kingston gets out of it. Then we have the weirdest swing I've ever seen, because then instead of holding on to Kingston's legs, he holds him by his neck. How does anyone do that safely? That was absolutely insane. Near the end, Claudio tries for the Ricola bomb. That's countered into a roll-up, which then gets countered into a roll-through for Claudio, who picks up the victory and retains his title. I'm a little kind of disappointed by this. I thought this would be Eddie Kingston's time. But if post-match has anything to say about it, I don't think we're done. As Wheeler Yuta comes out, it looks like he's just checking up on Claudio. It looks like they're leaving the ring. They then surround Eddie Kingston. It looks like he's going to suffer a beatdown. Out comes Shibata, who pretty much all have a stare down in the middle of the ring. And then Claudio and Yuta walk off. This was another fun night of wrestling. A lot of odd booking decisions, but I'm kind of okay with them. Like, whatever I like to see Eddie Kingston win the big one finally, absolutely. But I do understand why Tony Khan would like to keep the title on Claudio for now. So, we'll see what happens there. And the show I'm sure you guys have been waiting for. We have WrestleMania! As we start with night 1, which was on Saturday. And we start with a promo between Miz and Snoop Dogg, who are co-hosts of WrestleMania this year. We run down how similar Snoop and Miz are, blah, 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 glad-handing. Introducing the first match of the evening, the U.S. title match between John Cena and Austin Theory. And it was definitely an interesting match. A match that went a little bit short, although that's probably because Cena is not as in ring shape as a lot of people would think, which is why The Rock didn't show up. Spoiler alert. Near the end, it looks like John Cena's going for his 5 moves of doom. And then after an attitude adjustment try, that gets countered. Cena then lifts Theory up again. Looks like he's going for another AA try. Instead, Theory kind of forces himself into the referee, which causes a ref bump, a low blow, and then an A-Town down, with the winner and still United States champion, Austin Theory. I'm going to say this about this match. It did fill a need. We had the experienced guy putting over the upstart. But, I don't know. Personally, it does nothing for Theory's character because it signifies, what you're doing is good. What you're doing is fine. So, maybe a Cena win would have put Theory on a different path and maybe get him a different gimmick than what he currently has. Overall, match was fine. Nothing really to write home about. Next up, a surprise banger match after a pretty much zero build for this matchup. A Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Showcase match as we have the Street Profits, the Viking Raiders, Alpha Academy, and Braun Strowman and Ricochet. And honestly, I am so glad this match happened because it signifies that WWE are intended on focusing more on the lower tier tag teams and maybe build them up a little bit more. Like, to start, we had Ricochet and Chad Gable, who felt absolutely masterclass. We then get the different dives from the different littler dudes, which left the Hosses in the ring, and they clobbered each other until everyone was outside the ring. Strowman and Express everyone to start it off, but then Angelo Dawkins with a pounce to Mr. Strowman. Ricochet tried for the shooting star, missed, and then the frog splash from Montez Ford for the Street Profits to get the win. This was definitely a surprise, a diamond in the rough for WrestleMania this year, and honestly, I'm glad it was on the show. It showcased maybe some next steps for at least a couple of these guys. Next up, we have Logan Paul taking on Seth Rollins. And honestly, as much as I don't care about this match, they put on a heck of a good bout. A lot of good stuff early on. Logan Paul with a buckshot lariat, which he performs that extremely well. During the bout, we had a Prime Energy mascot, which that was weird. And it's revealed to be KSI. And if you don't know who he is, he's another internet personality. Both of them have put Seth Rollins on the announce table. KSI has the phone. Looks like, we're going to do another viral thing like what Logan Paul did to Roman, I think it was, in Saudi Arabia. Seth then gets up, puts KSI on the table. Logan Paul then hits a big elbow drop on him. Back in the ring, we get a counter to the stomp, which leads to a GTS, which did not see that coming. Then a frog splash for the 2 count. The stomp then misses. A coast to coast from Logan Paul, which that was impressive. Logan Paul tries for the super kick. That gets caught. A takedown. The stomp for the Seth Rollins win. And honestly, I think this was a not much needed win for Seth. He's been on a bit of a losing streak as of late. And hopefully he'll be put into a main event slot very soon. Next up, a kind of slow it down kind of match, as it is a 6-person tag team match player, as Trish Stratus teams with the current women's tag team champions Lita and Becky Lynch, as they take on Damage Control. That's Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. Like I said, this match was definitely a kind of slow it down, rebuild the crowd enthusiasm for later kind of thing. As a match, it was fine. A lot of bad blood between these 6 women. It did break down at a couple points, but then it got reset. Lita and Trish with a poetry in motion, in which they did that really well. Then we have a Stratus faction into a belly to Bayley. Bayley to belly. Twist of feet, chick kick, Lita salt, and then the manhandle slam, with the winners being Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish. This match was fine for what it was. Did it really need to be on WrestleMania? I don't think so, but it does seem like Damage Control needs something else. Like, maybe it's time to break up Damage Control. I don't know. This stuff isn't working. Next up, we have a grudge match, as Rey Mysterio finally takes on his son, Dominic. And honestly, this was a knockdown, drag-out fight. You have, at some points, Rey Mysterio going for his high-flying stuff, which Dom pretty much perfectly counters. Eventually, we get Finn Balor and Damian Priest to come out. Damian Priest wearing a weird jacket. He then places it on the apron. It looks like they're going to get involved. But Rey's new group, the LWO, come out and run off Judgment Day. And then after a 619 and a counter to the frog splash, Dom exposes one of the turnbuckles, in which the ref goes and takes care of it. He then gets a chain from the jacket Damian Priest left. Looks like he's about to deck Rey Mysterio. Bad Bunny, who is sitting at the announcer's desk, gets up, takes the chain from Dom, and then Rey hits his 619 and frog splash for the win over his son. Now, I do think this was a very, very, very good match. A little schmotzy near the end with the two groups. But overall, I do believe this is a nice, hopefully, stopping point for the Rey Mysterio-Dominic Mysterio feud. And then instead we pivot to Judgment Day versus LWO, which I would be for. Just need to take a breath. Next up, we have the semi-main event of night numero uno, and it is for the SmackDown Women's title, as Charlotte Flair takes on Rhea Ripley. And these two had, honestly, I think one of the best matches of the weekend. A lot of really good back and forth, a lot of really good... they worked really, really well together. At one point, we did have Rhea try for the Riptide. Flair countered. Flair then had Rhea in the figure four. Looked like she was about to bridge into the figure eight. Rhea then perfectly counters it. Gets up. And then hits hits the Riptide for the win. So your winner and new SmackDown Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley. This was a fantastic bout, start to finish. A lot of good drama, and just a really, really good match. Cannot recommend it enough. We then have the weirdest slowdown of all time. Well, actually, wait until you hear what happened night 2. So, you have Miz, Snoop Dogg in the ring. They announce the attendance for WrestleMania tonight, which, you know, they usually do. And then Miz brings up, on social medias, I issued an open challenge for WrestleMania. And nobody answered because everyone was scared. And then Snoop's like, yeah, I didn't see those messages. I don't think you really brought it out. But if you're ready to go, I got someone in the back ready. Out comes Pat McAfee with a big old surprise. And has the most one-sided match of all time, including George Kittle getting involved. That was interesting. And then after a cannonball dive, a punt kick, Pat McAfee gets his win. And it was a nothing. Like, it was to reset the crowd so they can go crazy for the main event. And overall, like, it was a nice surprise seeing McAfee back for WrestleMania. Last time we saw him, he lost to Vince in whatever that was last year. So, yeah, this was essentially a palate cleanser. For our main event of night numero uno, as Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens challenged the Usos for the unified tag team titles. And, oh, man. First bit of the match, Sami Zayn gets beat up a little bit. It looks like he's about to lose a couple times. Kevin Owens has to make a couple of saves. Kevin Owens then comes in, runs house a little bit, but then gets slowed down by the Usos. Zayn then gets back in. He gets hit by a bunch of super kicks. A 1D, he then kicks out. Sammy then hits Jay with a surprise blue thunder bomb, which gets kicked out. Jimmy and Jay then hit a couple more super kicks. Looks like they're going for the 1D. And then Kevin Owens pushes Jay out of the way. Then Jimmy gets pushed into the turnbuckle. Haluva kick. Owens hits a stunner on Jay. That doesn't finish the match. Then a comeback with the super kick. Double Uso splash, in which Kevin Owens kicks out. Jay is looking to go up top, hit one final splash. Sammy pushes him off the top, which sets Kevin Owens up for the superplex. Sammy tags in, hits two Haluva kicks in a row. Kevin Owens with a stunner to Jimmy. One more Haluva kick to Jay. And your winners and new undisputed tag team champions, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. As much as I was disappointed in Sami Zayn losing at Elimination Chamber, this was the right call. This felt really good. This was a natural end to this story. However, this may get undone by Night 2's main event. Minor spoiler for that. Speaking of Night 2, here we go. WrestleMania Sunday, WrestleMania Night 2. We got The Miz and Snoop Dogg back. They go back and forth, running down what happened the previous evening. And we start out with the match I'm sure a lot of people really didn't need, but overall I'm kind of glad it was on the card. Omos taking on Brock Lesnar. And it starts with Omos just absolutely dominating Brock. And Brock looking to go for his usual stuff. And then Omos just no-selling it. Eventually, Lesnar fights out of a bear hug submission, hits two suplexes, goes for an F5, buckles under the weight. Then, after a chokeslam try, Lesnar gets out. F5, your winner, Brock Lesnar. Honestly, this match was as long as it needed to be. It wasn't a technical marvel, but I'm okay with it. Like it's nothing to really. It was a fun house fight opener that I do appreciate. And now we get into this match. The Women's Tag Team Showcase featuring Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green, Natalya Shotzi, and Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler. Overall, the match itself was fine. You had the other three competitors in pretty much the entire time, with Baszler and Ronda kind of mulling on the outside, picking their spots, but let's face it, in reality, they were both hurt. Near the end, Liv goes for Oblivion, then Ronda Rousey throws her out of the ring, armbar on Shotzi for the submission victory. This match was pretty much a means to the end to build up Shayna and Ronda Rousey for a tag team title run. Uh, so yeah, I guess once they're healthy, they're gonna get a tag team title shot. Out next, we have Bobby Lashley out, showing off the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal trophy, which was competed for which he won on SmackDown, not even on WrestleMania. And that was it from him. He did issue an open challenge, which I guess went unanswered. I don't know. I guess it was supposed to be Bray Wyatt, but apparently he's out with an illness. Get better soon, Bray. That was definitely something more you could have done with Lashley. Next up, we have the triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship, as Gunther defends against Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. And oh boy, these two beat 7 shades of poop out of each other. This was a classic wrestling match, a great triple threat. You had at one point Sheamus looked like after a bro kick, got the win. Drew then drags him out of the ring. They then have a little face off with Sheamus having this dejected look on his face. They start brawling. They then get back into the ring. They then hit Gunther with a combination 10 bells of the Bowery, which is opponent has arms in the ropes, and Sheamus beats his chest, and then Drew with chops. That was brutal. A little bit later, Sheamus hits the Celtic Cross. Then Gunther kicks out. Drew hits a Future Shock DDT. Looks like he's set up for the Claymore. Misses. Gunther with a massive drop kick. Hits power bombs on both guys. Which secures Gunther the win and the retention of the Intercontinental Championship. Honestly, this was easily the best match on the night, maybe of the week. These three need all the flowers that you can get. It was a great match, great technically sound bout. Now, this next match is interesting. It was good, but I'm not into the result. As we have the Raw Women's Championship on the line, Bianca Belair defends against Asuka. Now, like I said, a very, 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 very good match. Very technically sound. A lot of tries for the Asuka lock, and then Bianca powers out. It looks like she's going to go for the KOD, but then Asuka hits the armbar, which it looks like she's going to get the submission. Bianca in the ropes. Bianca then stands up on the second rope and then hits the KOD for the win. Overall, a very, very good match, like I said. But with Asuka's record now at 0-4, I'm wondering when Asuka will get her time. Because, honestly, I think it's way past her time. It's time to push Asuka again. We then have the absolute weirdest segment of the evening. Again, it's the palate cleanser before the rest of the show. We have Miz and Snoop Dogg in the ring announced the attendance for the night and for the weekend, which, very impressive. Miz then wants to get something off his chest to Snoop Dogg, as he felt like he was set up for this match last night about Pat McAfee. Snoop then says, "Oh, my bad." Then Miz tries to roast him a little bit. "My bad? You say my bad? I wasn't ready for this. I was in a nice suit, which Pat McAfee messed up." And then Snoop's like, "No, my bad. Here comes the money." Really? Shane? Like, how many times do we need Shane as a surprise? Like, come on now. His time has passed. It's time to look to the future, not to Captain Potato Head. Then it looks like Shane is hitting Miz with some straight punches. He goes for a leapfrog, lands very, very awkwardly, and tears his quad, which runs in the family. Trust me. Then Snoop Dogg gets involved, and apparently he picks up the win after a doggy elbow? I don't even know what to call that. It was very, very awkward skit, and I don't know. This time would have been better equated for an LA Knight promo or a Bobby Lashley Open Challenge. Something other than this schmoz. Next up, we have the big old car crash match. Edge taking on the Demon, Finn Balor, in Hell in a Cell. And honestly, they used this cell to their advantage, throwing each other into the cage. One point, Edge gets a couple of kendo sticks, traps Finn Balor in the corner of the cage. It's a big old massive drop kick. He then sets up a table on the other side. Balor gets freed. And just massive drop kick into the table. They get back into the ring. Edge hits an Impaler DDT, homage to Gangrel. Misses the spear into the sling blade. He then drop kicks Edge into the cage from the apron. He then gets a couple of chairs and just wings it at Edge, which that did not look safe. They then get back into the ring. Edge gets a ladder. He then gets in the ring and just chucks it at Finn Balor's head. And it looks like it... And I've seen some pictures of Finn Balor's head. Big old gash here to here. And honestly, I know there's people out there saying, "Oh, it's a little bit of blood. Why does this match have to stop?" A person's health means a whole lot more than this silly match. If that would have played out, who knows? Maybe Balor is out for a while, and maybe he suffers some serious injuries that leaves him from continuing his in-ring career. I think this was the right call. Did it interrupt the flow of the match? Yes, very much so. But I think Finn Balor's health comes first. We then get Edge setting another ladder up in the corner. Finn Balor then climbs up to the top of the ladder. Coup de grace, which misses. Edge then spears him into the ladder set up in the corner for a 2 count. We then get a brutal beatdown with a kendo stick by Balor. he then sets up a table in the middle of the ring, sets Edge up onto it, goes for the coup de grace, misses, stomps right through the table. And then after a couple of kendo stick shots, Edge then sets Balor up between one chair, concerto for the 1, 2, 3. Your winner, Edge. Now, I do feel like there was a plan to be a bit more to this match, but due to the medical emergency, I think it got cut a little bit. Edge winning here, I'm not super against it because this feels like the ultimate end for Judgment Day, and as much as I like Judgment Day, what more can this group do? Like, maybe they go for the tag titles, which I'd be okay with. Maybe get, Owens and Zayn away from the bloodline for a little bit. Let that breathe. And then maybe come back to it on another date. Overall, I thought this match was really, really good. Despite the ref stoppage in the middle. But again, a person's health matters definitely a lot more than some wrestling match. And then this heartbreak. Man, we have the WWE Undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship match. You'll have Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. And this match itself, easily Roman Reigns' best match. And it was spectacular. At one point we get a potential disaster kick, which gets caught into a powerbomb. That was impressive as heck. Eventually we do get both guys down ringside. We then get Solo, who is ringside with Paul Heyman. Roman distracts the ref. Solo gets the chair and just hits Cody with it. Gets Cody back in the ring. And then a big old drive-by kick for a 2 count. Solo then trips Cody while the ref has his back turned. He then takes Cody's weight belt, in which he gave it to Brody Lee Jr., who is sitting in the crowd in the front row, and just smacks Cody with it. Then the ref, like the big lemming that he is, kind of looks up, looks at Solo, throws him out. And I'm like, okay, this is good. The odds are now even for Cody. We then get a ref bump after a Cody cutter. Roman, and it looks like Roman has his belt. Looks like he's going to hit Cody with it. Ref takes it away from him. Then after a Uranagi and a Superman punch, that gets to a 2. Pedigree, 2. A lot of near falls, a lot of reversals. Cody then gets Roman Reigns into the figure 4, in which he rolls over onto his stomach, countering the move. They then get out of it. Roman then has Cody in the guillotine choke. It looks like he's down for the count. Cody fights back, gets out of it. Then after a super kick to the ref, a Superman punch, both are laying. Cody then gets up, hits a crossroads, but then in comes the Usos. That's right, the Usos are still drinking the Kool-Aid. Super kicks, and then after a 1D, out comes Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to fight him to the back. Then after a stunner to Roman and a haluva kick to Roman, the Usos look like they're fighting back. They then brawl into the crowd. We get ref number 2 in, Cody for the cutter. 1, 2, kick out. Cody with the bionic elbow. He, an homage to his father. He has Roman set up for the crossroads. Heyman up on the apron. Then Solo, in a hoodie, comes from the crowd. Gets Cody by the goozle. Samoan spike. And then a Superman punch. A spear for the 1, 2, 3. Your winner, still Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. Now, I, like you, was absolutely pissed off at this match at first. It definitely felt like Cody's momentum was ultimately stopped. But here's the thing. I'm kind of looking optimistic a bit. Now, hear me out. Should have Cody won this match? Absolutely. It was his time on the grandest stage against Roman, the biggest boss WWE pretty much has ever had. But I'm okay with this. Like, here's the thing. Solo's, so far, first loss on the main roster was to Cody. Now he's getting a little bit of a revenge. So now I think we're going to have a program between Cody and Solo. This keeps Cody kind of near the top. And once he does win the WWE title, which I do think he's gonna, I think it will be fine. Now, I'm definitely going to say this. Will it feel as special as it would have been at WrestleMania this year? No. But will it be a big crowning achievement for beating Roman? Absolutely. I think there is credence for Cody to beat Roman at, say, King of the Ring or at SummerSlam or something of that nature. Would it have been nice to see Cody win at WrestleMania? Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think the story is quite done yet. And I'm kind of interested to see where it goes. So, don't hang your heads too low just yet, WWE fans. Because I think this could go to a very interesting place. So, that is it for me. I hope you enjoyed my recap of this weekend. Now, coming up on Friday, we have NWA 312. Personally, I'm not going to watch it then. I'll probably watch it on Saturday, get a review up for it on Monday. So that means my predictions will be on Wednesday. And then Friday during the day, I think I'm going to try to cover, the wrestling shows before that. So like Raw tonight, NWA Power tomorrow, MLW Fusion, Dynamite, which I will be in-house for, and then Thursday Impact, and then I will try to get my Friday Ring of Honor stuff done. Yes, I know Ring of Honor is on Thursday, but I usually watch it on Friday. So, yeah, that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on not just WrestleMania, but honestly this whole week. Because this week was meant to be enjoyed by wrestling fans like us. And whether you liked the main event or not, I thought it was fine for what it was. So, until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.